And it's not Monday, it's Tuesday. But it was MLK birthday celebration yesterday, so we weren't on, but we're here today. It's the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce member connection. And today we have none other than the incomparable, the illustrious, the wonderful Miss Lorna Owens. Lorna.
Hi, hi, hi. I tell you, I feel like you're my agent. Oh, wonderful.
It's so good to see you in this new year. How are
Yes,
you?
I am great, like Matthew says, living life, enjoying it and just trying to be healthy as the new year is on us, and we got to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. And as I say, living my best life.
Yeah,
I said the rest of my life is going to be the best of my life.
yes.
So that's my mantra.
Yes, yes, I see you doing it. I'm like, okay. So every day when I see you doing it, it's a reminder for us. So listen, do underestimate the fact that you're saying that because there are lots of us, we're soaking it up. So keep doing it.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And then everything that you're doing. I mean, you've been on this journey for quite a while. It's not something that you just started. And you have so much. I mean, you've been a midwife. You're an attorney. Um, so many things that you've done, and now you're running your business now, your lifestyle wellness, Desert Sage lifestyle wellness. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, but then also the you're founder of the Footprints Foundation, and let's start there and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to. 2010, I saw a piece on CNN called Rape as a Weapon of War. It was a piece done by Anderson Cooper, and he talked about the Democratic Republic of the Congo, over 2 million women being raped there. And I had not heard of it at all. And I started crying. I thought, oh my goodness, why isn't anyone doing anything? Voice says, it's you. So fast forward, I formed Footprints Foundation and managed to go to the Congo through Rwanda. Rwanda has rebuilt this country, very beautiful, fabulous. Get a chance, go to Rwanda. And then I get to the border of the Congo, and I'm like, it was Goma, and I'm like, oh my Lord. I dropped in the middle of a civil war myself and another attorney friend of mine. And I thought, that's why the government says don't go there. But in the Congo, I met an amazing group of people, doctors. We had the ability to speak to the women who'd been raped and are survivors. And we went way up in the mountain to an area called Moinga. And we were taken in for questioning by the United Nations. When we were coming down, we understood why. That night, unfortunately, there was a massacre on the village, and they couldn't understand how in that short time several hundred of women had come out to that spot. And the reason they were there was, one, because several years ago a number of people were buried alive, and so we went to pay homage and respect on that site. But what touched me, there were hundreds of women who walked from their villages many miles, maybe a day's walk, to see us. And I mean, I just started to cry because I felt, what kind of people would take all that effort to come see someone they'd never met? So I purposed in my heart that regardless of what happened, I was going to do something for the women of the Congo. So coming down from the village, we saw some dead bodies on the ground, and so that's why the United Nations was so jumpy. I realized that I couldn't do anything about the rape per se. It was really complicated. It's about coltan and the minerals we have in our electronics that allow it to conduct and not overheat. And it was complicated, the mines and all. But I knew as a former nurse and a midwife that I could do something about reducing maternal infant mortality. I came back to America and started taking nurses and doctors from three countries there, US, Canada, and the UK. And we would go there and train their nurses and their traditional birth attendants about how to handle complications of pregnancy, newborn resuscitation. Also, because of the war, several of the moms were delivering on the bare ground and the rainforests. So once a year, we do an amazing birthing kit assembly at Plymouth Congregational in Miami, where we make a couple thousand with all our the links, the Delta, AKA, and other community entities. And we're able to send it to the Congo, so at least the mom have a clean surface to work on. In Jamaica, we work in Jamaica as well, but for different reasons. Jamaica keep losing their specialty to here. So, Eric, when you go to a hospital here in Miami, there are all these Jamaican nurses. That's
Right.
a big drain on the country. When a country like Jamaica lose their neonatologist, that's maybe one or of two or three. So what we have done, we in partnership with the government, we now train pediatricians to do what a neonatologist would do, and we get all the nurses certified in a special certification which is called NRP. And our amazing partner in that is Joe DiMaggio Hospital. So that's a long conversation to say footprints is near and dear to my heart. And then I thought, what could I do to have a source of revenue coming into footprints all the time without my having to go ask people for donation? And we do is so I formed Desert Sage, and it has taken off more than and has blessed me and has changed my life more than I would imagine. It's a lifestyle wellness company. We have fine teas, natural body wash and lotion, a beautiful facial cream, and all of that, all green, no harmful chemical. All of that supports us, creates an awareness, but also supports Footprints Foundation.
Right. And how long have has Desert Sage been in existence?
3 years, and I'm happy to say we're doing well. We're recognized with some of the best products on the market because my fear is this, that a lot of times, we're especially now in the winter, we're putting on these lotions and potions on, but we don't realize how many harmful chemicals are potentially in these brands. And it doesn't matter, some of these big brands, right? So you have to read the label and see all the carcinogens that we're putting on our skin, knowing that the skin is one of the biggest organs of the body, so it's going to absorb all of that. So we do in our lotion and our body wash, doesn't dry your skin at all. We have a um, coconut oil, shea butter, jojoba oil. We tend to run low in vitamin D, so I snuck a little vitamin D in there, and it's emollient, and our essential oils that we use, it's therapeutic grade. We use the European standard, which is a higher standing in excluding all these harmful chemicals. So I every day I feel like I'm a disciple. I feel I'm an advocate for clean product. Talk about it all the
Right.
time. Not to mention the fact that before all this pharmacy, this drug business that we're on, we got our healing and our wellness from herbs. There's a whole ancient energy. Our ancestors used it as antibiotic, as pain medication, and it sustained them all this time. And now we're so dependent on pharmacopoeia, which has so much side effects, and abandoning or teas or herbs or ginger or chamomile. So I am like, let's go back to nature, let's go back to basics, yes, and heal ourselves and encourage wellness among each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, a nurse, a midwife, an attorney, obviously running a business, an entrepreneur. So, where does all this come from?
I think it's a knowing that as people, and maybe people of color, we need to chart our own destiny. When I started first, I haven't worked for anyone since 1919. I worked as an assistant state attorney when I just graduated from law school, got some experience there, and has always had my own practice since then. And I think that it comes from, I understood that for us to create wealth and for us to chart our own path, and me wanting to be happy and content with what I do, I couldn't blame somebody's job for that. I had to find my own way. And so by creating these businesses and continuing to be a student, I mean, I don't stop learning as it relates to wellness. You know, I have a certificate in the life in science of well-being from Yale University.
And I was
And
going to ask you, that was going to be my next question. Could you talk about that a little bit?
yes, you know, a lot of universities now are beginning to understand wellness. And so I thought, let me see what the big girls are saying as it relates to university and who are the leading components. And so you'll find them at, you know, for example, Cornell has a great program in health and wellness, University of Minnesota, Yale. And so I say to myself, if I'm going to speak to you about health and wellness, I better know what I'm talking about. I better have a scientific basis for telling you the things I am telling you. And the only way I know how to do that is to go get some education. So I got myself a certificate from Yale in the science of well-being. I got myself a certificate from University of Hong Kong in Chinese medicine, and I'm finishing my herbal medicine from University of Minnesota, because what that does, it puts me on the cutting edge of what somebody said yesterday. So when we speak, when I'm talking to people on one-on-one as a coach or whatever, what I'm telling you is, to the best of my knowledge, the latest scientific data that can move you on this wellness path. So that's why my respect for my audience and my customers allow me to say, don't just speak from the top of your head, right? Don't just Google something and say, yeah, that's good. Go to
Right.
the expert, hear what they're saying, read, learn to read the scientific research, look at PubMed, Cochrane. These are the leading journal, and I read them 2 or 3 times a week to see what's new, because science is evolving. You know, it's not that it was wrong; it was what we knew then. And so, as proponents of health and wellness, it behoves me and it behoves all of us to keep up with the science.
Right. Right. So, speaking of science, and we know we've heard a lot about science. Obviously, we're still being impacted by COVID and
Omicron,
Omicron.
yes.
And I get stuck and want to say Omicron, but anyway, Omicron. And where are you in this whole journey now? I mean, obviously the world's still shifting. Here we are. We weren't doing these type of connectivities prior to
Right.
COVID. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of people were connecting via Zoom and the other platforms, but obviously more so now. So, where are you with this right now?
Okay, I'm very respectful of disease, right? I understand that, and I want us to like step back a little bit and not get so overwhelmed. It's easy. It's a virus. Viruses has been around forever. The technology we use, thank God, it was in the making for years, and they realized that they could use this vehicle to, in fact, give us this the vaccines. And I remind people as we breathe and stop being freaked out that a vaccine has been around for years and we don't even know what's in them. For example, if you're going on the continent of Africa, you have to take a slew, including yellow fever, right? I need to re-get my yellow fever to go back to Africa. So it's been there. So I want people to just calm down and understand this. It's a respiratory disease, which means the only way you can get it is by breathing it in. Small thing you can do is wear a mask. But let's pause at the mask thing. I'm vaccinated and boosted. Well, the first thing, get your vaccination and get boosted. Simply to, you must, even though you're vaccine and boosted, because it's respiratory and because the disease, the virus is evolving, just like how the flu virus evolved. It's nothing special, right? Every year you have to get a new flu shot because it's kind of a different flu virus. Same way, wear your mask and hear us now that we're past cloth mask. We understand that cloth mask, because of the size of the virus, It's not going to keep the Omicron virus out. It's going to penetrate the layers and the fibers of the cloth mask. So don't wear cloth masks now. Wear a KN95 or N95, please. If you're going to a something fabulous and you want to match your outfit, have the KN95 under and then put the cloth above. But we cannot rely on cloth just because, remember, the virus is minuscule. That's why you can't see it. You can't even feel, the virus getting into your system. It will penetrate the fibers of the cloth. So don't wear cloth masks. Just go out and get N95. Well, how I operate, because so much of us are getting it now, is that I don't eat out anymore. I will pick up and I will take home, because when I eat out, it requires me to take off my mask. Okay, so remember this: a anytime you have to take off your mask, if it's one time, it could be that one time you take off your mask, it exposes you. So you have to balance the risk. If you
Right.
are out, socializing, because we have to network, and you feel the need to take your mask off, maybe step outside. What you're doing is moving away from the concentration of virus that might be in the room. And don't pull your mask down so that people can hear you, all right? Because a lot of times people say that because they're upset that you're wearing a mask. Don't take it down, because that time when you take it down to have that conversation could be the one time that infects you. So
Right.
just have a discipline to just cover your nose with the mask. If you're at a social gathering and you need to take down your mask, move away. If I'm at a social gathering that I have to drink a glass of wine, I pull it down, I take my sip, I put it back up. Because you kind of need a little time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, to have that concentration of virus around you. And based on the numbers in our Florida, in a room there is at least 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 persons. So if you have a room of 20 people, plenty of people are in there with the virus. So just accept that.
Right.
And remember that the longer you're unmasked, the greater your chance. So yes, you can go out, you can socialize, you can, if you have to, pull the mask down a little, sip your wine, put it back up, right? Take a piece of whatever you're eating, stick it inside, put it up. But don't be around socializing without a mask, because we will get it. That's
Right.
for sure. Right.
So the last thing before we go, you're also an author, My
Yeah.
Journey with Food in the Time of Coronavirus. So as we're speaking about it, can you give us a little snippet on that before we
Yeah.
go?
I wrote it last year and it's all healthy. I deconstructed a lot of our foods. So in my book, you'll find simple recipes, 2 or 3 ingredients recipes, great vegetarian, great vegan, and great seafood. I have worked it so we're nutrient rich but less calories. So it's called My Journey with Food During the Time of Coronavirus. You can get it at Amazon as an ebook, or you can get it from us at desert.sage.co. Also, I gotta tell folks, we have some events coming up. 2 are online on Zoom. January 25th, I am doing a one-on-one workshop called Ditch the Diet, Say Yes to Health. We're going to go through, and I'm going to cook. I'm going to show people simple recipes. On February 22nd, another one, which is the healing power of health, of herbs. We're going to go to history, and we're going to look at the drug herb interaction, because sometimes you're on some medication and you should not be drinking that particular tea. So we're going to walk through that. And the big one that I'm asking all of Florida to come to is March 19th. It's a And the Women Gather literary book event here in DeLand, where I now live, at the beautiful Athens Theater. We have 3 best-selling author. It's March 19th. Tickets are on sale, and that the money from that benefits Footprints Foundation.
Wow, you got a lot going on. Well, that's a
Yes,
good
sir.
thing. As you say, you're staying busy. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
They can go to desert-sage.co or simply call me at 305 505 5493. I love to talk to people. I'll talk to you all day about health and wealth.
Well, Lorna, thank you. And those who are watching, if you want to know more about the chamber, you can go to www.m-dcc.org, or you can call the chamber at 305-751-8648. And join us on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock for our member connection. You can go to our website and find out more about that. So, Lorna, author, nurse, midwife, attorney, entrepreneur. Thank you so much for joining us today. Look forward to seeing you again. And we have to bring you back on so when we do turn in the words, so we could talk more about the journey with food during coronavirus.
Thank you. Thanks to the chamber. Obviously, we always say this is absolutely the best chamber. And tonight, folks, we are on at 4 o'clock. So jump on and you'll see just a huge amount of amazing businesswomen and men.
All right. Hopefully you'll join us today at 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Lorna, thank you so much.
Blessings.
Blessings to you. Okay, there she is. Paris, what happened there? I'm by myself now.